who is the rich girl? Is there a specific rich girl that's out there, John?
It's a funny story. It was actually a guy.
Okay.
There was a guy who was friends with Daryl's girlfriend in college, and he was a trust fund kid who had tons of money and no responsibility, and he went off the deep end, and he was a complete, kind of wacko.
He was relying on his old man's money?
He was relying on his old man, and Daryl actually just sat down and just as a joke said, "You're a rich guy, and you've gone too far," and obviously, he realized immediately it wasn't going to be rich guy, and just changed it to rich girl. So it's literally that's where the song came from.
So it was about a guy
yeah,
who shall remain nameless.
Yeah, well,
okay, he's long since gone on that. Who was the man eater? Was there a specific man eater out there? Well, John,
it started out. I used to hang out in a restaurant called Mary Lou's in the Village back in those days. A lot of musicians, actors, models, and groovy 80s types would kind of hang out there. And one night this gal came in and she was a model. She was absolutely devastatingly beautiful, but she had the foulest mouth on any human being I'd ever heard. And her great beauty and her disgusting vocabulary kind of like went, I went like, she would just chew you up and spit you out. I was kind of excited and scared all at the same time. And I went back and I started writing, she'll chew you up, she'll spit you out. And that evolved into the song. And then I came up with this kind of reggae version of it. And then I played it for Daryl. He said, let's do more of a Motown feel. And we just finished it up. But the reality is when we started writing the lyrics, we wrote it about New York City. The Man-Eater is actually the city of New York in the 80s with that, that Wolf of Wall Street mentality, that more is better, the guy who dies with the most toys wins. So it's really kind of without being too highbrow, it was a metaphor for New York City.
So who was the inspiration for Kiss on your list? What was there any specific?
Well, I don't know where that inspiration came from because the idea came from a gal named Jana Allen, who was Daryl's girlfriend's sister. And she was an up-and-coming songwriter, and she actually came up with that title.
She just came up with that?
And then Daryl worked on it with her.
John Oates here on the Rich Eisen Show. Is there one song that you think is your proudest, that you just throw out there that you're most proud of, John?
That's always the tough question. I always go back to She's Gone because it was a song that really put us on the map. It was a song where the world heard about us for the first time. And to this day, whether I'm playing by myself or I play with Daryl, we play that song every night, and we've been playing it since 1972. And it sounds just as good now as it did. And I guess that's where that's where you put the bar as a songwriter. If you can write a song that will stand the test of time, and I think that's really what.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to move Week 6 games to Saturday for that wedding you have to go to.